Hi, and welcome to a quick tour around some of the carnivorous plants I've got in the house. These are obviously the more tender ones that wouldn't stand it being in an unheated greenhouse. So quite a few of the things I've got here, as you can see, are Nepenthes. These are all actually Nepenthes lata. I've had this one quite some time. This one's actually flowered this year. We've got the female. I've actually got a Nepenthes Linda on the upstairs bedroom windowsill. That's actually a male. So actually this year I tried pollinating, crossing the two. They flowered at the same time. So we'll see how that comes out. I mean, these actually look like they're forming seed. They're a lot bigger and fatter than they were originally, and they'd normally sort of start to die off if they weren't pollinated. So might be interesting. This I think is probably the original plant. It's been chopped down quite a few times. It's vining around quite a bit at the moment. I've just sort of looped it around on itself just to keep it a bit tidier. And then we come on to cast a tray pretty much full of cuttings from it in various states of vining themselves. So we've got some, it's a bit caught around there. Got some nice little traps forming. A few more of them. Some ones I started to propagate in perlite. So the ones I've done as leaf cuttings, and then now started to grow really nicely. I've actually had quite a bit of success in actually just taking the parent plant when it vines, cutting it off, maybe cutting 2-3 leaves, and then sort of putting them inside pots and then keeping them warm for a bit. And most of the time, I'd probably estimate about 90% success rate in those cuttings actually produce things. And even sometimes, as you can see there, the dark brown stem there was, I think it was just pretty much what looked like a dead stalk that I just cut off when it had vined, stuck it in the compost to see if it would root, and it did. It sprouted and rooted. So, like I say, I've had quite a bit of success with the Nepenthes doing that. Down this end of the tray, we've got some Droseras. So we've got Venusta here. Not looking particularly coloured at the moment. I don't know what's quite wrong with that one. It is starting to dew up, so hopefully it'll start to pick up a bit. We've got Nidiformis. We've got a couple of pots of Nidiformis there. This one doing a lot better than the other three back there. And then we have some more Venusta. These ones are looking really nice actually. They're dewing up nicely. I really quite like this one as a rosette one. Bear with me, I'll go and get one of the other windowsills and show you what's on those. Okay, here's one of the windowsills which is at the moment taken over with Pinguiculas. So we've got quite a lot of Pinguicula tina in this tray. In fact, all of these are Pinguicula tina. They were all taken as leaf pullings a couple of years ago. I did a whole load just when it was in its winter state and it was more like succulent leaves. I pulled off a whole load of leaves, probably 20 or so, maybe a few more actually. Laid them on the compost, stuck them in a bag. Didn't expect them to grow. I thought there'd be far more that failed and would rot off. And I think apart from about one, maybe two, they all grew. They all sprouted new little plantlets from the base, and on occasions a couple of leaves even sprouted 2 or 3 different plantlets from even part way up the leaf. So they were ridiculously easy to propagate, I found, which is quite good because I have never managed to get tina to set seed. I've tried pollinating it with its own pollen, and it's never set seed for me. Now, tina, I believe, is a Sakiri Egnata cross, and it's a really nice one. It's got a nice big, here the original parents have got. These look more in their succulent state at the moment, so not quite so sticky leaves. They're really tight, thick leaves, but they'll start to produce their, in fact you can see in the centre, they're starting to produce their sort of summer carnivorous leaves. This is a really nice plant. I mean, it's a nice big plant, as you can see here. It's got really nice green leaves, and when it starts to flower, it's got a really nice light lilac coloured flower, and it will flower for months and months and months, and it's really nice. So that's a really nice plant. My other little pinguicula in this tray is Emeraginata crossed with Zakiri. This is an absolutely lovely little pinguicula. It's quite small. This one's got multiple growing points at the moment. It's got a nice little purple tinge to the leaf edges, and it's got a really beautiful, if we can actually get focus on the flower, possibly a bit close there, it's got a really beautiful tiny little pinky purple flower with white veining on it and veining on it. This is absolutely gorgeous. I really love this one. This one I got from seed. I think one of the seeds I got actually produced this plant. Since then it has flowered, and it has flowered, and it has flowered. I mean, at the moment it's got two flowers on it. There's two that have just recently gone over there. There's another two that have set there. I need to take those off and recover the seed from those. But yeah, that is a really nice little plant. And I actually have a whole load of those I've taken from seed, which I'll show you in a moment. But while I'm here, this is my little windowsill propagator. It's an old CD DVD container. This has got Drosera in it. Now again, I got this as seed. A couple came up, but it just never really did very well. It was for several years it was about the size of that little one in there. It was all stunted. It never really produced any dew on the leaves or anything like that. And my main problem was the fact that I didn't have it humid enough. As soon as I put it into this little sort of personal propagator, it has just loved it. And it has dewed up, and it looks really nice and really healthy now. So yes, it needs a lot more humidity than my windowsill will normally afford it. So bear with you, I'll go and show you a few more of the pinguiculas I've got. So as promised, here are my Emeraginata crossed with Zakiri seeds, or seedlings. These were sown mid last year, I think it was. I started to prick them out into their own little pots. I'll show you in a moment the actual tray that the rest of them are in, because this is not all of them. Like I say, the main adult plant, I self-pollinated it. It produced, quite a decent number of seed. I sowed them on some compost. Nothing appeared to come up for a couple of weeks, so I oversowed a few more seed, and then I think pretty much every single one of them has come up, and I've got absolutely loads of them. But they are an absolutely delightful little pinguicula. It's got nice little rolled edges to the leaves. Like I say, that's not quite focus. They start to colour up quite nicely. They're sort of slightly pinky purple in the middle. But yeah, that's a really lovely one, and they've got a gorgeous little flower. In this tray we've got a couple of westers. These were offshoots from a wester my mother bought in a shop garden centre. And now these ones have now split, so there's a couple of grounds. So far I've not actually managed to get this one to flower, which is really disappointing. My mum's has flowered a couple of times, because the flower is actually really gorgeous on this one. but hopefully it will start to flower fairly soon. And here's a few more Tina leaf pullings that I've potted up, a few that need to be potted up again. Those ones need to be potted up again, and those. But that's not all the Tinas I've got. Hold on, I'll just move to the other windowsill. And here you go, here's the rest of them. So there's another tray of leaf pullings from my Tina. And these are all, quite decent sized plants now. I could do with tidying a few of them up. They've got a few of their old leaves are got a bit like tissue paper underneath them now. But yeah, again, this is a really nice one actually. I do like this, and like I say, the flowers, once it starts flowering, it is absolutely gorgeous, and it will just keep doing it and doing it and doing it for so long. You think it would not have enough energy to put the flowers up for as long as it does, but no, it does. And it makes an absolutely lovely indoor plant, therefore. Let's go and find a few other plants on some of the other windowsills then. There you go, that's the tray of Amarygynata, Crosswizzacuri. The rest of them that I've not pricked out yet. According to the label, it was March last year which I sowed these. So yeah, I've still got an awful lot of these to prick out of here and pot on. But I don't mind. Like I say, I really like this one. We've got a few odds and ends in terms of Droseras in this tray. That is Spatulata Tamlin. It's not doing brilliantly. It got really badly affected last year by greenfly, which took me a lot of effort to try and get rid of. There's another pot with one of them in there. Moving across, we've got a pot full of Aphinis Namibia. They're doing alright. They've not got much bigger than that. I need to pick a few of those out and pot them up. Quite like that one. Again, I got that from some seed. I'm growing them on. Can't quite read what the date is on the label. 2019 I got those started. So they've been actually quite slow about that. This pot should have some filiformis in, red ones. Well, there is one of what remains of the quite a few seedlings that did come up, and that in the middle of there is the other one. Fortunately, this pot had a bit of an accident, and the filiformis have never really done brilliantly in it. I don't know why. They grow to about an inch tall, maybe an inch and a half, and that's really about as far as they get, and they've never really got much bigger than that. The other ones you can see in this pot, I think, are Venusta, and they've sort of self-set in there and hijacked the pot. Speaking of Venusta, here are a few more of my Venustas. That's a nice one. There's one back there. Got a few others here. That one is not a happy Venusta. That's a very unhappy one. It's now died. What's the matter with that one there? That needs to be pulled out. And that also has decided to die. Not entirely sure why. There's a Venusta here, which is actually, it won't focus, it's been flowering, and we've actually got some flower spikes on that Venusta as well. For the back here, I think that is a Banata T-form that's hijacked that pot. This I do not know. It's a Capensis of some description. It's got a lot wider leaves than my normal Capensis has, so I don't believe it's just a standard Capensis. It appeared in a pot of other seeds I grew. So I think it's a bit of a rogue from somewhere. like I say, not entirely sure of its actual makeup there, but it's certainly got much wider leaves than the normal Capensis. In fact, there is a normal Capensis, or standard Capensis. I know there are lots of different varieties of them. That's I think some more filiformis seeds. I do find that they are nice little ones, filiformis, but they, for me at least, I've not got the knack of keeping these alive. They will grow really nicely like this sometimes, and then all of a sudden they will just turn their toes up and die on me. Finally, we've got a tray of Alici. I got loads of seeds, so I just thought I'd sprinkle some in the tray. I obviously sprinkled them far too thickly. Some have survived, some have not. I need to prick these out and pot them on. I've just not had the time yet. And finally, there is a Binata tea form in a pot. The main plant looks like it's died. I'm not quite sure what I did to that, but we've got another one which is obviously sprouting out from the roots. I'm hoping the main sort of stem base there will sprout out again, but I'm not entirely convinced at the moment. So that's what I've got downstairs, and I'll take the camera upstairs and I'll show you what I've got on some of the windowsills up there. Oh, and this is the last of the indoor plants at the moment. Here are 5 cuttings from my Nepenthes Linda. I did these middle of last year. It was vining quite heavily, so I chopped it, took it down to about 2 leaves per sort of cutting, put them in some perlite, kept them wet, kept them warm, and as you can see, they've all done really well. That's the old leaf. Here's the new growth bud from here. This one's got one nice and low down. I think of the 6 I put in, 5 of them have rooted, and as you can see, they're doing really well. Although this is actually a really strong and fast growing, vigorously growing Nepenthes. The parent you can't see quite so easily here. It's a bit stuffed up the corner. It produces some really nice big traps there. That's probably 9 inches tall. They can be a bit smaller higher up. Can't quite tell, that's an old one back there. There's a few around the back, but it's vining again, so I might have to do a bit more chopping. It's actually flowered this time around, and as I said earlier, Linda has turned out to be male, so I've pollinated my Nepenthes downstairs, my alata, with pollen from this one, so hopefully we'll get some seed from it. Like I say, yeah, again, this is doing really well. Really nice, strong, vigorous growth. Got another growing point there. It's got another one there from where the other, let's say, flower spike has come out. So yeah, I really like this one, and that's last year's cuttings I did of it. I've got some more cuttings here of alata. Again, one of the alatas was just vining, so I just took them, chopped them up, just stuffed them into some perlite. I haven't even bothered on these to keep them anywhere moist, high humid and warm. I've just had them on the windowsill. Some of them worked. That growing point has shriveled a bit. They're all pretty much, I mean, that one's got one growing down there, and there's one just starting to emerge down there. But to be honest, I don't need any more alatas. I've got enough downstairs. but this sort of shows how fairly readily they will actually propagate. And the other things I've got here, I've got 3 Drosera madagascariensis, which is a really nice little picture. It's a really nice little Drosera. Nice little round leaves held on, quite a tall little spike. It can grow sort of 9-12 inches tall. Need to give it something to grow up, so I've got the canes on there. I've got a lot more of these out in the greenhouse. Most of them have died back quite a bit. These ones I kept warm on this windowsill, and they've done a lot better, and they're growing quite strong now, but I will move these outside when it begins to be a bit more consistently warm. And they thoroughly enjoyed that there, and for their size they are prepared to catch or attempt to catch some really quite large insects. So yeah. Oh, and just one last thing I've got growing on my windowsill. These are not carnivorous plants at all, actually it's some chili seedlings. Just thought I'd show you anyway, but well, I hope you enjoyed that quick look around what I've got growing on the inside in the house. Hopefully I'll do another video of what I've got growing in my greenhouse, all the Sarracenias and Droseras out there, especially now as they're beginning to put on new growth and also put their flower spikes up. So like I say, I hope you've enjoyed that, and do keep watching.